Midday.com is today talking to Aparna Popat, 9 times champion when it comes to badminton. Being a woman, being a champion, I know that this might be a very cliched question. How were you perceived by people around you? I'm sure your family supported you and that's why you are where you are today. But I always believe that anyone who has made it there should thank themselves first.
I think if you think that becoming a champion is an individual effort, absolutely not. It's a team effort completely. I come from a traditional Gujarati family, and nobody in my family had a sporting background. So to pursue something like sport, I think I was a child. I was just allowed to play sport, but I think a lot of the credit goes to my parents because they really had to manage family and society and things like that. So and also when you pursue elite sport, there's a lot that goes into it. I think parents primarily take a big brunt, whether it's financially, whether it's allowing me to leave home at the age of 16 to train in Bangalore. So I think a lot of credit goes to them and of course to the coaches who actually handled me very well. Being a very young child, I started winning very early. So it was very important for them to handle me as a player, and I think I was nurtured very well. So I think a lot of credit goes to everyone else.
Wow. Which were the things that you remember very vividly when you think of your years of training, which were maybe very difficult at that point of time for you because you were very young? And later when you learn, when you understand, it's a different thing. But at that point of time, those things were difficult for you.
No, I think absolutely. When I left home, it was this whole thing that I wanted to play badminton and I wanted to play very well, and I got a chance to train under the legendary Prakash Padukone. So it was a dream come true for me. But I think when you actually move out of home, a lot of things are different and you appreciate things much more. Being in Bombay, in the mornings I would be woken up by my mother, get up, go to school, go for training, whatever it is. As soon as I landed in Bangalore, I started waking up with an alarm clock, right, which was different. I think also hot food, getting hot food when you want. I used to eat my lunch and dinner out of a dabba, which was so big. Things like, taking the chapati and breaking it with 2 hands is not something we were used to doing at home. They're small things, but they remind you of home. And much later on, you realize that these are the small things that were there, but you didn't pay as much attention to it because you had a larger goal in mind, which was to play for the country. And in the end, I'm really happy that I could achieve that goal. Playing 2 Olympic Games, I think, is an absolute dream come true.
Let's talk of Olympics. I mean, I remember as a kid, we were like, amused to see all the great visuals that we see, and then becoming a journalist, writing about it, talking about it. What changes you have seen? Because you've been a part of the system in a way. How things have changed, especially when we talk of, sports from, perspective of being an Indian.
I think it's changed tremendously, right from the mindset that we had way back at that point in time. And speaking of the Olympics in particular, I think qualifying for the Olympics at that point was extremely difficult because the funding was not enough. The backing was not. I've traveled around the world for tournaments alone, no coach. The equipment that was given, the courts that we played on used to be torn, and they were difficult to manage. But having said that, there were challenges, but we still did, 100% to do what we did. Have things improved now? I mean, 100%. They've gotten so much better, but I think we still really need to catch up when it comes to the Olympic medals. So we want more medals, we are hungrier for more, and we know India can do much better. So we're just hoping that this streak continues and the belief in the players stays intact, and the government and with all the other stakeholders, and they've been very, very supportive to the players. So we're really proud to be a part of the sports fraternity in India at this point in time.
You just said that, the conditions were not really good. Why was it? Does this mean that sports per se was ignored, or we didn't take ourselves very seriously that we as Indians can really do well when it comes to sports?
It was a combination of belief and mindset as well as money. I think funding plays a very large role when it comes to resources. So we were good, but we weren't prepared enough. We were just not prepared to play the bigger tournaments against more fierce opponents. And if you prepare well, the belief comes, and that is how I look at it. So our preparation wasn't as it should have been because of the challenges that we had, but I think the talent was always there, and if we had the resources, I'm very sure we would have done better.
You've learned from the Prakash Padukone. Which are the 3 things that you remember, as his student, which he must have, he might have said them casually, but those things, they stayed with you. A Guru mantra, something like a mantra that stuck to you. And any 3 things that you learned from him, maybe by listening or by, just observing him?
Yeah, I think he's really a man of few words. So a lot of what I picked up from him was through observation. I think his focus, for sure, his tremendous discipline, and the one thing that he used to always mention to us is that you're accountable for your own performance. I will correct you once, I will tell you once, but I will not repeat it a second time. So every time he used to say something to us, it used to be like the gospel truth. Like he said it now, you can't ever forget it, because if you do, then you're going to lose out on that learning. So I think these are the things that.
And in India, in the Guru Shishya Parampara, it is always said that Guru gets angry on the student from whom he is expecting or she is expecting the most. Any such story you can share that happened with you, with your Guru?
I had actually 3 coaches through my career, and I think all 3 of them at some point in time have got angry with me. Also because I was a very curious kid. I would keep asking questions. When I was training, if they said this is how you have to do something, and I'd ask why. Until I was satisfied, I would keep at it. So sometimes that could be a little frustrating for them, but I think all in all, it was a great trait to have, because the understanding I got about the sport was much deeper because of that curiosity. So and I think the second thing coaches I think would be upset with me was my eating habits. I would eat very little food, not the wrong food, but just too little. So I think that's a complaint they had,
So which are the new generation badminton players that you look up to and you feel are very promising, and what do you want for us, India, to, do when it comes to the field of badminton?
Look, I want them to win the Olympic gold. That's that's the ultimate, right? I think there's a whole bunch of them who are doing extremely well. In the past couple of years, we've got some brilliant results that honestly that we never even thought would be possible. We've had world number 1s in badminton, we've had world champions in badminton. So I think all in all, the sport is doing extremely well. I think one of the best in India.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.